Did you see the fall? Oh, Abby doesn't like it. I know. I don't like it either. It is sad. It's sad. I had the same thing. I watched it with Doug. We both felt bad for him. You know, in the same way you feel like my mom, she came to visit me this past weekend. She's going to be 82 in July. She fell. I'm like, oh my God, I screamed, Mom. She was fine. But, you know, it's scary when you have an elderly person. Ah, God, it went down kind of hard. I know he says he tripped on a sandbag. Very possible. They use them sometimes to tamp down cords and lights and things like that on stages. Guys, to me, this is about one thing, 2 words, Kamala Harris. That's really my biggest takeaway from watching the whole thing. What do you think, Rich?
Yeah, we talked about this. You were ahead of the curve, kind of being willing to talk about Biden's age. And I tweeted, you know, we've all seen this. If you've had an elderly parent in decline, you're used to this way of walking. You're used to holding your breath. And once the falls start, they don't stop. And I just fear that that's the state that Biden is in. Even prior to this trip and fall, he was being led around at that event, like, you know, everyone's shoving him when the music starts to go this way and pointing out obstacles. It literally could be unsafe for him to be out and about in a year or so. It's not crazy to think that. And when I tweeted this yesterday, John Harwood of, I guess, CNN now, and some others, like, well, anyone could trip. You know, Jerry Ford tripped when he was 62. That's true. We all could trip. But this is something different. You're fooling yourself if you don't think there's something different going on here, and this isn't a symptom of decline. And this has to be factored into his electability. Democrats figure, you know, he's better than Kamala Harris, right? It would be a disaster. So he's the most electable against Trump. But if you factor in that some horrible health event, some terrible fall could happen at any time, including, you know, October 2024, that would throw the election to a Republican, including Trump, that makes him not seem so electable. And so I have doubts whether he's going to make it to the starting line, let alone the finish line.
That is the thing, is it's like you're right. It happens once. It's going to happen more than once. We've already seen him fall. You know, he fell up the stairs. You know, he stumbled a few times. They do lead him around like he's a blind man, you know, like he can't see independently. And no one wants anything bad to happen to Joe Biden. You know, even if you don't disagree with the guy's politics, he served the country honorably for many, many years in public service. Not to say we agree with all of his behaviors or his ethical choices. I'm just saying you don't want anything bad to happen to him, but you really don't want anything bad to happen to him when you see who's in the number 2 position, Jim. You look at the opinion polls on her. This is just from between 421 and 531. Favorable, 39%. Unfavorable, 53%. Now, if you were start to break it down by party, it collapses amongst independents can't stand her. Republicans multiply that by 1,000. But she has zero support. And if the Democrats were stuck with her, they'd lose. They'd lose against anybody. Trump, DeSantis, Chris Christie, you name it. Am I wrong?
Megyn, we know that the overwhelming majority of Democrats do not have faith that Kamala Harris could win the 2024 presidential election against either Donald Trump or Ron DeSantis, or, you know, let's say some scenario where Nikki Haley or Tim Scott or somebody else is the nominee. We know this is the case because if they believed she would win, we would be seeing the columns saying it's time for Biden to hold to a one-term pledge and pass the reins to Kamala Harris. He's 80. He just fell off a stage, right? He's not getting any younger. He's going to be 81 when he's running for re-election. He turns 82 right after Election Day 2024. Nothing's getting better from here on out. Those bones are not getting any more flexible, or they're brittle, right? This is why we're frightened. Yes, any one of us could fall. If I fall down, I'm going to get up and I'm going to moan and I'm going to groan and I'm going to keep on walking. With Biden, and also my responsibilities compared to the presidency are pretty mild. What we see here with this, look, there was that comment, ironically, also in Axios. I cite them a lot for making fun of them. Axios noted that it's very hard to schedule an event with the president before 10 a.m. in the morning or after 4 p.m. in the evening. And it's only 5 days a week because the president goes back to either Delaware or Camp David every weekend. All right. Now, here's the thing. We know that if the president could get out there more, he would get out there more. No president strategically chooses to minimize their appearances to one a day between 10 and 4, 5 days a week. The reason President Biden isn't doing these sorts of events is because he can't, which means early in the mornings and late in the afternoon and in the evenings, he's in rough shape and he's in no shape to make a public appearance. We already have a part-time president. What do you think it's going to be a year from now? What do you think it's going to be in fall of 2024? None of this is any good. And what's kind of baffling is that we can all kind of see this, and yet we're constantly being gaslit. We're being told how great he is. He's fine. Karine Jean-Pierre claimed that President Biden has so much energy she can't keep up with him. Or Spucky,
Sure.
right?
Sure,
I just go.
Yeah. The other thing is, Jim, he's a natural retail politician. He likes being out there, right? So it's not as though he's an introvert and doesn't want to do it. It's just that he can't anymore. And you hear stories, Republican senators say they never hear from him. And he's a garrulous guy. He used to talk to everyone. And apparently, I don't have Democratic sources, but they say their Democratic colleagues say they never hear from him.
Then he got up. This was even sadder. It was even sadder. He got up. He got caught on cameras back. I think this is back at the White House after the fall. The fall was on Thursday at the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado. And then later he was on cam and tried to do the, like, look at me. I'm like Dick Van Dyke, clicking my heels together. Watch. I got sandbagged, he said. That also is sad. That also, right? It's like, oh God, he needs to overcompensate now and like do a little heel kick to show us he's still limber. And he isn't, he's not fooling anybody. You just kind of want to give him a hug and escort him over to his Matlock and just let that be the end. Sail out into the sunset in some sort of dignified way. This is not the way. Breaking news, Genucel has upgraded its most popular package to now feature its top-selling deep firming vitamin C serum plus ultra retinol moisturizer with natural retinol alternative. Right now, take advantage of this limited time package upgrade for 70% off. Why waste time and money going to get work done to your face when you can just get Genucel skincare shipped right to your door? Here's a Genucel.com review from Robert in Texas. Quote, I purchased Genucel as a gift from my girlfriend. She said she saw results so fast, we joined their concierge program immediately. It is honestly the best skincare she's ever used, and she's extremely impressed with all the Genucel products. Now, Genucel is made by a compounding pharmacist in small batches, always safe, cruelty-free, and natural. Go to Genucel.com/MK60 and save over 70% off Genucel's most popular package, featuring both the Genucel Ultra Retinol and Genucel Firming Serum. Genucel.com/MK60, Genucel.com/MK60, and get a complimentary Spa Essentials box with every package order plus free upgrade to priority shipping, so you'll get it fast. GENUCEL.com/MK60. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.